Hello everyone, my name is Bret, and sometimes I wear a beret. Welcome back to another educational video of wikiHow. Today's video is how to modify a Nerf gun. Nerf guns aren't just for kids anymore. Adventurous do-it-yourselfers have discovered a wide variety of mods and hacks that make spring-activated and pump-action Nerf guns endlessly fun. While every Nerf gun can be modified differently, learning the basic mechanisms in the two main types of Nerf guns will help you explore and design your own mods. Learn the basics and start hot rodding those foam shooters. Hot rodding. I've never heard that phrase before, but apparently it means modify, to make it faster or more powerful. And the three methods to be covered are getting started, modifying spring guns, and modifying pump guns. Which makes a little bit of sense because this article also seems to be titled 3 Ways to Modify a Nerf Gun when you search for it. Now this is another one of WikiHow's most popular Nerf articles, as it has been viewed over 130,000 times and has an approval rating of, oh no, I don't want to go anywhere near an article like that. But it's kind of a small sample size, so let's not pay attention to the rating just yet. So prepare yourself in the same manner as how to upgrade Nerf guns. This is how to modify a Nerf gun, according to WikiHow. Method 1. Getting started. Whoa! Hold up! Hold on, look at it! Oh my gosh! No! No!
You interrupt my afternoon nap.
Number 1. Get a good gun for modifying. There are lots of different styles and designs of Nerf guns, but the basic models are usually the best for modifying, since they're the most common. If you want to get started, getting a basic spring or pump gun will be the cheapest option that will allow you the most variety. You can start master keying a sniper rifle later. Master keying a sniper rifle, is that a thing? I guess it could work in Nerf, but it just doesn't sound right. Start small and learn the two basic categories of Nerf weaponry. Spring guns are activated by an internal spring that is compressed by racking a plastic slide on the back of the gun between every shot. This compresses the spring, which launches the foam dart. The Nerf Maverick is the most commonly modified spring gun.
Yeah, maybe in 2005.
Pump guns are activated with air pressure created by pumping the gun, much like some water guns work. These guns have great potential to increase the power and accuracy of shots with simple mods. The basic pump model is the Big Blast, though this isn't made by Nerf, technically. If we look back at the end of the 1990s, why not the Supermax blasters? Maybe it's a nitpick, but if you're going to go with Nerf, a lot of these still have great potential. Number 2. Assemble the tools necessary for basic mods. You don't need to actually do much to make some slight modifications on basic Nerf guns, but you will need a few tools aside from the blaster itself. If you're under 15, it's a good idea to have your parents help you with any tools or cutting that might be necessary. To do the modifications described in the following sections, you'll need a handsaw, Phillips head screwdriver, sandpaper, Dremel drill or metal file, wire clippers, replacement parts if you want to upgrade. That actually sounds fine to me. Number 3. Learn to make Steffens. The word Nerf is an acronym that stands for Non-Expanding Recreational Foam, which is made mostly of polyurethane. Now that's a common misconception that I believed for a while too. Nerf doesn't actually stand for anything. There's your fun fact to a fun fact. Each blaster you buy at the store will come with a short supply of Nerf darts, but get real. The little things are easy to lose and too expensive to buy at the store. One of the best basic mods to learn as you're getting started is how to make your own darts and save money. A general method has been developed by Nerf enthusiasts, and they're usually referred to as Steffens. There are various ways of making Steffens, but the simplest is described here. Yes, Steffens have been more popular in the homemade community or NIC groups, but nowadays I don't think they're actually your cheapest option. There are tons of third-party manufacturers that make inexpensive and safe darts that you can buy in bulk that aren't going to break your budget most likely. They will solve this problem. So I'm going to skip the rest of this section that talks about foam backer rod, BBs, and fishing weights for making Steffens. Number 4. Invent your own mods. Everybody's got their own little tricks and opinions about the best hacks and mods for Nerf guns, and everybody likes different guns. There's no right way to do it. The best way to learn is to take the gun apart and see how it works, then start developing your own ideas and mods and try them out. Check out some other articles and specific mods for specific models below. Make a homemade Nerf sniper scope. Paint a Nerf gun. Make a Nerf gun shot farther. Easily modify a Nerf long shot. No, I remember you. I remember the pain you caused me. Never again. Method 2. Modifying spring guns. Number 1. Remove all the screws holding the housing together. The first step to modifying a spring-activated Nerf gun is to take it apart and examine the internal components. The housing of most guns is 2 plastic halves held together by Phillips head screws. Larger guns will have more screws, but the smaller handheld pistol-style blasters will sometimes have as few as 3. Remove the screws with your screwdriver and set them aside. Pull the two halves of the gun apart to reveal the internal components. One side should just be a shell, and all the parts should be attached to the other side. It is very nice when your blaster isn't solvent welded shut, doesn't have plastic end caps, doesn't have internals on both sides of the shell. You know which companies you are. Stop it. Number 2, remove the cylinder and unscrew the cap. If you're modifying a Maverick, the easiest way to start, the most common beginner mod is to remove the air restrictors and the barrel posts, which keep you from being able to use Steffens, and which decrease the power behind each shot. To do this, you need to pull the cylinder loose where the darts are kept before they are fired. Why are they so Steffen obsessed in this article? You really think that a Maverick firing heavier darts is going to improve anything? The cylinder that holds the darts should pull out without having to pull very hard. Just grab it in your hand firmly and pull it back out away from the shell of the gun. With it should come a gray or beige plastic end plate, which you'll need to remove. Usually the end plate is attached with a little orange cap you can pop off using a flat end of a screwdriver, or just using your fingers. Don't lose this cap, or you won't be able to reassemble the blaster. I only just realized that they're talking about a Maverick, but showing a strong arm. There is a little bit of a difference between the two, I would say. And actually, the previous image was a disruptor, which is the most modern variant, 2016. If someone came in here and updated the article to be modern, they missed a key component. The word Maverick. Number 3, clip off the barrel posts. Nerf brand darts are hollow and slide onto a post in each barrel of the blaster. For a long time, this kept people from being able to make your own darts. Fortunately, you can just clip them off. Remove the end cap with the barrel post from each cylinder and use wire clipper or some other type of lopper to cut them off, as close to the end plate as possible. If you want, you can sand up the nub that you leave with some sandpaper to clean up the end. It's not necessary, but it'll be cleaner. Reassemble the cylinder by attaching the orange plastic end caps to each of the cylinders and putting the cylinder chamber back together. You're ready to turn your attention to the end plates. Number 4, file the nubs off the end plates for the Russian roulette mod. Remove the gray plastic plate from the end of the cylinder if you haven't already, and find the little arc-shaped plastic nub on the side of it. This is used to stop the cylinder from spinning freely, so you can rotate the chamber in the gun like you're Jesse James. This won't make the gun shoot any differently, but it looks awesome. It's a mod. The Russian roulette mod, yeah, that was pretty popular for the Maverick, but it also did help you reload a little bit easier. It gave you access to more barrels. I imagine a lot of people would find that useful for a strong arm as well. If you want to complete this mod, file off the nub using a metal file or a Dremel drill. Smooth it up as much as possible to make the plastic flat so the chamber won't catch on it. If it doesn't, it won't spin right. Make sure you get help and permissions if you're using a power tool. Reattach the end plates to the blaster and put the cylinder back in the gun. If you wanted about 5 to 10 feet, 1.5 to 3 meters, more distance out of your gun and the ability to spin the chamber, you're done. Put the housing back together. But only a fool who didn't want to fully upgrade their spring gun would stop there. Number 5, upgrade the spring. If you want more power out of your gun, upgrade to a stronger spring. Examine the firing components of the gun, pulling the spring loose. It's a cheap, flimsy piece of metal that you can easily upgrade with a trip to the hardware store. Take the spring with you to look for a spring that matches the width and length, and buy one made of a higher quality material. Sometimes replacing the spring will leave you with a little gap at the back of the gun, where the spring won't go flush with the plastic. To remedy this, you can use a small stack of pennies, 3 or 4 should do, to slot in and give the spring something to rest against. The pennies should fit into the chamber perfectly. Penny mod, yes! Only the highest quality mods right here on wikiHow. But I'm confused again. All these images of a strong arm and a disruptor. Have you ever tried to do a penny mod to a strong arm or a disruptor? You should try it. Number 6, consider replacing the barrel. Some really power-obsessed modders like to cut the barrel off the end of their blaster and replace it with a length of PVC pipe that matches the width of their Steffens. Keeping a tighter seal and increasing the pressure of the spring can make the darts go much further and faster. You crazy power-obsessed modders wanting an effective barrel length for your darts. Also, we're not talking about Mavericks anymore. Probably Nightfinders. Sorry. If you want to do this, cut off the barrel of the gun just where it meets the body of the gun and discard it. Cut a length of 1/2 inch diameter PVC pipe that matches the rough length of the barrel and hot glue it into place carefully, holding it to complete the seal. It's best to glue around the outside to avoid little nubs of glue getting on the inside. If you like the way the gun looks, don't do this. Barrel replacements look pretty bootleg, and you'll gain a little bit of power, but make your gun look kind of ridiculous. Who wants an ugly bootleg barrel replacement, am I right? Also, I'd recommend using 1/2 inch CPVC and not 1/2 inch PVC for a snug dart fit. Thank me later. Method 3. Modifying pump guns. Number 1. Remove all the screws and expose the internal components. Nerf doesn't actually make any air pressure pump guns, but many people refer to all foam blasters as Nerf guns, so this is a common mod in Nerf circles. These guns are typically primed by pumping a primer about 5 times to build up air pressure, which then shoots the gun. A plastic release valve is included for safety purposes, keeping the gun from exploding.
When you pull back, you can really feel the pressure, and when you let go,
you can plug that valve and get more power out of your gun, as long as you're careful. Why are we still using an image of a disruptor? This sounds alright, but that's not an air blaster. Number 2. Remove the pump assembly. Those are the internals of a disruptor still. On a pump action gun like this, the pump should come loose in one easy piece. It should have a long insert and a thicker chamber that's used to fill with air, a bit like a bike pump or some other kind of pressure pump. Pull it loose, as it shouldn't be screwed into anything after you remove the housing. Unscrew the end cap and pull the primer from the air chamber housing. It should have an end piece with a little rubber seal around it, which is used to create friction and pump the air. Number 3. Plug the pressure release valve with hot glue. That's the disruptor plunger tube. On the end of the chamber where the air is pumped, there should be a little open release valve, which is basically just a hole. This is used to let some air escape if you overpump the gun, creating too much pressure. If you plug this hole, you can get a lot more strength out of your blaster. Use a small dot of hot glue over the hole, smoothing it out and making sure it seals and covers the hole completely. Let it dry thoroughly before moving forward. Please note that the release valve is included to keep the plastic from breaking and popping open when you fill the chamber with pressure. It's toy-grade plastic we're talking about here, not strong metal, so you'll run the risk of breaking the gun completely if you do this, making it irreparable. You might get more power out of it, but only for a short period of time before it breaks. Number 4. Improve the seals. That's a spring! Another way to increase the power is to remove the black rubber O-rings from the plunger in the air pump and replace them with thicker rubber. This will create a tighter seal around the pump, creating more pressure and more power with each shot. Again, if you've plugged the release valve, this could be a stressful amount of pressure on the plastic, so be aware and be gentle if you do this. Remove the rubber seal and take it to the plumbing section of the hardware store to look for seals. Get one of the same diameter but a thicker gauge. It should feel much snugger in the barrel and more difficult to pump. That's because there's more pressure in the barrel. Number 5. Test it out and use caution when pumping. It's likely you'll only need to pump the gun once or twice to get a lot of pressure into it. Don't start pumping away like you're trying to pump up an air mattress, or the gun will break. Be very careful to avoid cracking the gun and breaking it for good. Pumping like an air mattress. It's an oddly specific example. Honestly, that all sounded like reasonable written advice. Nothing really touched on with barrels or breeches, but overall, it doesn't sound too bad. But that's it. Those are the 2 categories of mods that they had. Now, maybe string power isn't something that everyone's familiar with. Maybe it's very simple to think about how to upgrade a spring-powered Nerf gun. So I'll let that one slide for now. But there's something I think they're missing. Can you think of another type of blaster that we might be missing from this list?
Here's the Nerf N-Strike Elite Strife Blaster from Hasbro. Press the acceleration trigger to power up your blaster's motor, and then launch your Elite Darts one-handed up to 75 feet.
wikiHow does not believe in flywheels, or any type of electronic powered blaster. And some of you are going to be really bummed to hear that. And to that I say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone who sells motors, switches, flywheels. We don't need you anymore. I'm sorry to all the companies that make Strife cosmetic kits, select fire kits. I'm sorry, we don't need the Strife anymore. And I'm sorry to all the Coupe fans. Flywheel Master Race. It's no more. This is going to be really hard for some of you to move on from, but to those of you who do need a helping hand, I offer you one with 2 options. Spring gun or pump gun. Oh hey look, community Q&A. Let's see what the world is asking. Are airsoft guns dangerous? It's a freaking Nerf article. What are you doing here? Can I use a disruptor as well? Yes, you can. Oh my gosh, the main blaster used in this entire article was a disruptor. Were you even looking? Where do I get the spring, and how do I know which to get? You can get them in hardware stores, and just bring the tube along to get the best fit for springs. Honestly, these days, I just recommend looking online since other people have already spent the time and effort to source appropriate springs for different blasters. Save yourself the headache. Tips. Never modify a gun if you don't know what you're doing. Fair point. Make a laser sight with a laser pointer. Buy the legal kind of red laser light, or something similar. You can buy a pen that has one built into it, or a keychain, or even just the light itself. Ideally, the light will be preferably 6 inches, 15.2 centimeters, or less. However, it will still work if it's longer. I still wouldn't use laser pointers if you're aiming them at other people. Putting tape under the O-ring actually decreases range and power. If that's all you do, yeah, it might. Warnings. Modifying a Nerf gun can result in damage to the gun. The gun could misfire and damage property or result in injury of a human or animal. Never aim or fire the gun at humans or animals. Are you saying that modded blasters should not be used against other people, and they might damage property? Shoot, this whole modding thing sounds like a really bad idea. Nah. So that was how to modify Nerf guns, and it wasn't too bad given what it had to offer. Obviously, it's a bit incomplete, but I think there are worse articles you could stumble upon if you're searching Nerf on wikiHow. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you later.